Hi, this is E.W. Claville, and this is the Claville Report. Today we're going to talk about the burnout for teachers and the teacher shortage in America. What is the future of K through 12 education? Overworked, underpaid. The toll is taking a major toll upon our teachers and their effectiveness in the classroom. How do we get teachers back in the classroom? How do we keep them? And how do we make sure that they're compensated fairly to educate the future of our country? We'll talk about this and unpack a little bit more in this upcoming Claville Report. Since the pandemic, our country has been struggling with keeping teachers in the classroom and also recruiting new teachers, especially to inner city schools. It's a problem that was exacerbated during the pandemic, and coming out of it, schools are finding themselves in an extremely hard situation and spot, trying to fill spaces to educate our children. Now, according to the USA Today article, it states that new data shows teacher shortages remain just as widespread as they were in the summer, though the average number of vacancies declined slightly. It also outlines the scale of the problem varies significantly by region, district, schools, subject, and grade level, where many areas all have teachers they need. Also, they state that the pay and pressures of the job are major, though hardly the only reason some schools are struggling to fill these certain teaching positions. If you've been watching the news and various reports like I have, you see where teachers are always advocating for higher pay in the classroom. And some of the detractors say, hey, well, you're only working 9 months out of the year, you're getting paid for 12 months. But when you take a look at the average teacher pay across the board, and you take a look at the cost of inflation, how much teachers are actually getting pay raises and their increases, in a lot of areas, it's more advantageous to work somewhere else than to be a teacher. This is a major issue that many teachers have talked about and continue to advocate for in order to improve their working conditions. But there's something else, I believe, that's pulling teachers out of the classroom. And like I said, if you've been watching news reports and various things like I have, you see where teachers are struggling with classrooms that are bursting at the seams. They're also struggling with behavioral issues in the classroom. Unfortunately, there are many situations where we see students getting into altercations with either teachers, resource officers, or teachers' assistants. These altercations tend to escalate and they become viral across our country. And though it shows a bad light upon that particular individual and that school and that particular student-teacher situation, it also shows that this is not an isolated incident. But when we talk about not just discipline in the classroom, bursting at the seams, but also teachers are struggling with being able to pay back their student loans. The pay simply doesn't help. And with the problems with the student loan forgiveness program, many individuals signed up for the program believing that they did everything right. But unfortunately, they saw where they were being rejected simply by not signing a document in the right place or not filing at a certain particular time or something very less egregious than that. And unfortunately, it has shown that many individuals have given up on the teacher profession. Well, and then lastly, you look at the age of teachers. So a lot of our teachers are aging out of the classroom. In other words, they've gotten to a point where they want to retire. But because of the needs in the classroom, they simply don't, or because of the pay, they simply cannot. So it causes an issue where now these teachers are overworked, they're underpaid, and they're burning out. The National Center for Education Statistics, NCES, has been regularly surveying nationally representative sample of schools about various topics, including staff vacancies, during the COVID era. Now, it stated that, according to the latest School Pulse panel survey, nearly 45% of public schools, 45%, have at least one vacant teacher position, but about the same rate as when the survey was done some months ago. But the average number of vacancies per school dropped slightly, but again, this is during the summer. But generally speaking, according to this USA Today article, 4% of teaching positions across the nation remain vacant. 4%. Also, special education continues to have the worst, with 7% of positions being unfilled. Let's take a look at some more key areas, because that also plays a major part in the teacher shortage and exactly what I believe the opportunity for solutions we need. English language learning programs are especially understaffed at 6%. Computer science at 5%. And also social studies, English language arts, these are the ones with the fewest vacancies at 2% each. So why are there teacher shortages? According to this article, it's because of several reasons. Well, a myriad of reasons. Low pay and morale. Mounting political and academic pressures. Health and safety concerns. And also, generation of teachers hitting or near retirement and another generation of prospective teachers deterred by the profession's failing reputation and the sacrifices that it necessitates. So let's unpack each of these issues that this article points out as it relates to the reason why there are teacher vacancies. Low pay and morale. Well, listen, we all have to work in order to make a living, pay bills, to eat, keep a roof over your head, the whole nine. But we want to work in a place that we feel good about. Where we go in and there's a smile on your face, or you're happy to go there most of the time, if not all the time. And you know that you're going to get the support of those that are there, supervisors and the like. Unfortunately, in the teaching profession, many teachers are finding themselves battling and suffering with low pay. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but I just want to delve into it a little bit more. When the teacher pay hasn't been raised in some areas for over a decade, it's very hard. Teachers find it very hard to keep up. As a matter of fact, some teachers work second jobs. Others are sacrificing other things to earn money. They're sacrificing their time at home, their families, whatever the case may be. Others are going back to school to get graduate degrees, piling on more debt to do so, like student loan debt. And that's another conversation moving forward. Issues with student loan debt. Why are some teachers finding it necessary to advance, to take out student loans to go to school in order to advance just to make more money? But in the long term, it's going to be less money because you have to pay the money back in student loans. But lastly, the morale. Many teachers are finding themselves not happy. They're finding themselves not wanting to go back into the classroom. They're finding themselves with a lack of satisfaction with their administration and the lack of support that they have. Many teachers just want to teach something that they grew up or went into their profession to actually do. And keep in mind that all teachers, from my knowledge, if you're hired within the school system, you have to have a college degree in that subject matter in order to be hired. So every teacher has gone to college. The very thing that they went to college for, the very thing that they said that they want to be on career day in elementary school, middle school, high school, the very thing that they study and aspire to, they no longer have that desire. That's a problem. That's a problem. Many of us were influenced by teachers or a teacher. We spend more time with our teachers than we do with our families. That influence is monumental. That influence is absolutely vital in our lives. If you have a positive influence, if you have a teacher that's well paid, well compensated, and is feeling great about what they're doing, that energy, that positivity is going to roll into that particular student. But the exact opposite, if you don't have that, then what happens? Unfortunately, you get the effect that we have now, the negative effect. With that being the case, how do you solve the morale issue? Well, that's going to have to be something that each school division has to address, because all education is local. All issues are local. All political issues are local. So it's going to take a local solution to that issue. Secondly, mounting political and academic pressures. Look no further. First of all, let's deal with academic pressures, and then we'll go back to the political. Teachers are finding themselves having to teach to the test. They're finding themselves having to create report after report after report after report. They're finding themselves having to deal with policies of No Child Left Behind that put a lot on teachers' backs to be responsible for, outside of just teaching. Many teachers are finding this is just too burdensome, and they're walking away or not wanting to deal with that side of it. The other part of it is the political pressure. You've seen the reports. You've seen various governors, more specifically the governor of Florida, attack higher education policies and the attack on K through 12. The local political pressures that individuals endure. As a matter of fact, the new areas of division politically have become school board meetings. Now, granted, every school board has public meetings, but how many really started paying attention to your school board meeting before the political wedges started to be spewed across various news outlets to their constituents? School board meetings became lightning rods. They became events that needed to be refereed. Extra security was brought in because parents were becoming irate over one issue or another, and sometimes issues that were not issues, but were created to be issues for the purpose of political gain or divide. Many teachers are saying, I can't deal with that. And they shouldn't have to deal with that. And now they're looking at other options in order to be effective. They're walking away from the very profession that they said, I want to be, I want to do. They're walking away from the very desire that they said that they aspired to be on career day. The political, academic pressures are causing our very own educators to say enough is enough. Also, pressures of the health and safety concerns. When you talk about health concerns, during the time of COVID, many teachers did not feel comfortable going into the classroom because of the close proximity of individuals, multiple individual students, and not really knowing their health status and not knowing if they were vaccinated. That type of fear captured a lot of people. But more specifically for our teachers, it really caused a major upheaval in the profession. A lot of teachers retired because they didn't want to endure that type of healthcare scare. And you can't blame them. You have to value your life. But at the same time, provisions were not made as fast enough to help save those teachers from retiring. And unfortunately, those teachers that lost their lives during COVID, like many others, our hearts go out to them. But also safety concerns. As I stated before, we've seen stories where attacks, violent attacks upon teachers by students went viral. These attacks caused great bodily harm, and unfortunately, it's caused a lot of teachers to fear for their safety. The behavioral issues that teachers deal with in the classroom, it's one that is not going away because they feel it's not being addressed properly. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, a 6-year-old student shot a teacher in his classroom. And that teacher made sure that all the other students, though shot, were safe and that teacher survived. But those type of incidents causes pause for many in this great profession to ask, is it simply worth it? And then lastly, the failing reputation. Many individuals that go into teaching go into it because it's a passion. It's a heartbeat. It's not just a job, but it's something that you believe you were called to do. And others are saying, this is something that I know I was meant to do. And I want to continue a great legacy that my family has. Whatever the case may be, whatever their reason or their purpose, many are finding that the reputation of teachers in the teaching profession is becoming less reputable and declining year by year. For me, there's no greater profession than being a teacher, a professor in education. It's in that profession where you get to inspire, you get to educate, you get to lift up, you get an opportunity to do great things with an individual. You get to help mold and shape their minds, to have the next great idea. I can't tell you how many individuals I've had a chance to really influence and have done phenomenal things. And they credit our interaction in part because of it. In order for our teacher profession to continue to become strong, the reputation of the profession must increase. Teachers are valuable. They are I believe, the backbone of our society as a whole because they are the ones that are going to provide the education, the encouragement, the ingenuity, the empowerment, and the know-how to go out to do great things in this country. Now, they're the backbone. Our families are the foundation. And God all around that. Of course, He is first. But if we destroy the backbone, then the country itself falls. So what are we doing to help to answer these questions, to find solutions? According to the article, it says some state and district leaders are working to remove these barriers, including a newly formed consortium of Michigan school system here, and this highlights Michigan, aiming to bolster the pipeline into teaching. So what they're doing, they're helping to spearhead the initiative of piloting Grow Your Own program in their district. Regional agency oversees it, and the program thus far has paid 3 cohorts of 25 paraprofessionals each to earn teaching degrees and become certified special education teachers while continuing to work. They said this program has created a natural network of professionals who can fill the area's perennial special education vacancies. They also stated, but it's not just a position filled, it's a person supported. They're walking into their role with a huge net of support all around them. Now, this area of Michigan said These are the problems, but these are our solutions. A local problem with a local solution. With support, with a view for future advancement, and an opportunity to continue to educate their children. The last issue that I think we want to look at here is how teacher shortages affect students. Students themselves, as I stated earlier, are like a seed, and the soil that we put them in, how we fertilize them, how we prune the weeds from around them, the sunlight, the water that we give them, that's going to dictate how far and how strong they grow. Without the teachers in the classroom that are the soil, that are the water, that supply the sun, that supplies the fertilizer, that weeds from around that precious seed, that plant that is going to bear the fruit, our students are impacted negatively, and they will not reach their full potential. So what do? Just like Michigan did, that local area. Understand your local problem, find local solutions, increase the pipeline, support those that you increase the pipeline with. Ensure that you're supporting the students, and ensure the students are in the classroom supporting the teachers. It's a collective effort. That's called community. That's called care. And that's called the United States of America. But we're going to continue to look at this issue and continue to peel back the layers and understand it more and see what success stories are out there. Thank you for joining me on this session of the Claville Report.